Welcome back to the Vulture vs. Tony podcast.
2022,
episode 2.
We're here. He has C4 or he has energy in his. I have T.
C4 is the lifeblood of me. Yep.
I hope you zoom in on my face at that point.
I hope one of these days, hopefully this takes off and we can get sponsored by C4. That'd be great. Hey, C4, please sponsor us.
Holler.
Holla. Holla.
Okay.
All right, Caitlin, serious. Let's get serious.
I'm here. You're on a different level. Anywho.
I know. I've had a great morning.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a wonderful morning.
Yeah, I walked in and I thought there was a coaches meeting going on, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah, we started a 12 Stone home group. So our
awesome.
church, we're doing a remote group, and it's we had our first service today, and it was awesome. So thank you for everybody who came to that, and anyone is welcome to come to that. So we do not work out. It's at the gym, but we don't work out. I feel like people always associate like, oh, you guys go to church and like work out at the gym,
like at church, like work out at church.
No, we're just this is like a second home to us, so it's just people are comfortable here,
and it's easy, just a central location for everyone to come to.
Yep, 100%. So today's podcast, here's what we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about, since the Open is in
next month.
basically a month.
Yeah,
right?
literally.
We're going to give you guys tips on how to do well in the Open.
Mm-hmm.
That is the topic of today.
We're going to sprinkle some controversy in there.
Oh,
too.
you want to talk? you talk? What's the phrase? The T? What's the T, bro?
I'm really excited. Never mind, I can't say that. Anyway,
say it. We're doing controversial shit.
You're gonna have to cut it out, but you'll think it's funny.
Why do I have to cut it out?
Because I'm ready for you to have all your dad jokes.
Oh, you can tell people by the time this comes out. We have our appointment next week.
I'm ready for all their dad jokes, all his dad jokes. Yes!
Hannah and I are expecting a child.
She got a little bun in the oven.
She's got a little bun in the oven.
Can we just, okay, this is obviously a tangent, and we're taking a sidebar. But when you told me, did Hannah tell you how fucking mad I was? How mad I was, sorry, F word, at you, like leading into that?
Why?
Because.
What did I do?
You were like, okay, so set the scene. I had coached the 5 a.m. Hannah came in for some membership relation things. And so it was like 7 o'clock, 7:30, and I'm in the office with her. We're just cutting up, just chatting, getting ready for my clients or, whatever the case may be. And she says, yeah, Ham wants to have a meeting. I was like, it's 2. Now you remember? It is too damn early for this. And I was just already kind of in a crummy mood. I was like, whatever. Here we go. So he called.
I totally forgot about this until now.
And he says, all right, so team meeting, I think that we're at a point with our company where we need to branch out. We need to really consider bringing on another coach.
Which is
true. And he says, I think we're at the time. It's appropriate to bring somebody on. And I have somebody in mind, but they won't be able to come on until August. I'm like, so did you call the 2 people that I suggested would be a great asset?
Caitlin already like gave 2 referred 2 people for possibly bringing on.
So mind you, it's a speaker phone, right? So the phone's in between Hannah and I. I'm not even looking at Hannah. I'm looking at the phone. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I'm like kind of going in, and he says, well, yeah, we can't bring him on board sooner than that because Hannah's pregnant. And I was about to like say probably something inappropriate. And I look at her, and her eyes are teary, and I'm like, are you serious? Sobbing.
Yes, we're having a baby. We have our 12-week appointment. So when this airs, it'll be after our 12-week appointment.
So it'll be good to go.
Hopefully, yes. We're praying that everything is smooth and steady. So we're having a little future games champion August 10th.
I'm going to hear me out.
August 10th.
Speaking positivity and speaking things into existence.
Okay.
There's a very slim chance that your child will not be athletic. Let's just go ahead and say that.
I don't know.
However, you were a pork chop crony.
Yeah, I know.
You were an active athletic pork chop, but you
yeah,
were
at
a
least
pork
I was
chop.
like playing sports. I was used
Yeah,
to be
you
an
were
lineman.
active.
I was 300
Yeah,
pounds.
you were a beefy boy.
The good old days.
The good
Ate
old
whatever
days.
I wanted. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Good old Leslie just.
Old Leslie I was well fed. Just a well fed athlete. God.
He slept well at night.
If
put it
y'all
that
listen,
way.
all right, if you got some spare time, if you want a good laugh, and you got a little bit of time, go to the old Facebook page of Hamilton Broadnax and just scroll back a little bit.
Just
Scroll back a
a
little bit,
little, a lot,
and you will see a
lot.
chub, just a big old chubby guy. I mean, just
I
big
thought
boy.
you were just gonna stop at chub, and
Yeah,
I'm like, you
I
got.
was like, no, I got to keep going. Yeah, I went from I used to wear a 42 waist size. I'm a 32 now. Oh. Kaylin, you see me through like all my stages
I
of
have.
life. I know.
I'm like, I'm one of the OGs, man.
You are one of the OGs. That's crazy, bro.
I know.
So,
Cool, though. Anyway.
back to controversy. And I really want to know your opinion on this because you came into the CrossFit world later.
Mm-hmm.
So, you didn't know a lot of the or weren't familiar with is a better word, the OGs of the HQ staff.
Correct.
So like Greg Glassman, the original CEO, Dave Castro's obviously been there forever. You know, guys like Savan that were there forever.
Love him.
Miranda Oldroyd was an OG, Miranda Alvarez now, she was an OG. There's a lot of staff there that are not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously with the purchase of the company with Eric Rosa, which...
Well, rewind. A lot of that happened prior to Rosa coming on board as well, because there was a huge with the whole open.
Well, right,
and
right.
everything.
So I'm just saying, like, so
From the
you
original
have the OG
standpoint.
staff, and then all that controversy with Glassman,
Mm-hmm.
and then he obviously got released from
Right.
his position, and then Rosa bought the company, and everyone thought that was great,
Mm-hmm.
right, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Rosa was gonna be a great CEO from his initial mission statement, his initial, I guess, plan for the company that he was communicating to
Yeah.
everybody. And for lack of a better term, I'm disappointed
Okay.
for multiple reasons. So, as most of you know, they just let Castro go.
They cut Castro.
They cut Castro.
Castro.
Who honestly, and look at a lot. So let me preface what I'm about to say that this is purely our opinion.
Yeah.
So
We have no.
all you people
direct
out there that get
affiliation.
easily offended, this is strictly our opinion. So you don't have to agree with it.
And that's
And
okay.
you can't agree with it, whatever. But I like Savan.
I love him.
Savan is a very real
Mhm.
dude and a very vocal guy about his feelings, right? Which I respect because now in the world we're in, that's frowned upon
Mhm.
or not. People that's not sought after anymore. But
It's almost
made it-
like we have a sense of canceling ourselves before we can even speak our mind.
Well,
in,
it's
in hopes that we don't offend somebody. It's
Yeah.
like, what I'm saying is not offending you. You are becoming offended by what I'm saying.
Right.
The goal is not to offend you and to piss you off.
right. So he made a point on his podcast about them letting go Dave that you can't control talent. And it is true. You
Mhm.
can't, right?
Okay.
You're basically, think about all these major athletes and stuff out there. They're constantly monitored, because they're going to do what they want.
Right.
And you basically just have to influence them to try and be the best they can be, right? Well, Dave was the only OG left, really, I think besides one other staff member there. And to make a long story short, I thought it was a bad move.
Why?
I think for multiple reasons. One, strictly, again, purely because I'm a big Dave Castro fan.
Right.
So personally, of course, you never want to see someone you like.
Appreciate and respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that everyone, because again, people love him, hate him, whatever. He
Mhm.
did so much for
Mhm.
the sport. I mean, so much for the sport. And this is the big reason why I'm sad that he's gone. He was one of the last people, from what I've seen from the staff and what Eric wants to do with CrossFit, he was one of the last people that was that agreed with the statement or fostered the statement that the affiliates are first.
Right.
Health is first.
Right.
The games is a showcase. That's it. Right? the games and stuff are great for inspiring people and motivating people, and
Right.
it is a good outlet to showcase your best athletes of the sport.
Once again, the sport of CrossFit is for everyone, from the entry level
Yes.
to the elite. Like that's, I mean, point in case right there.
But he was the last one that was like, it's about the affiliates, it's about changing lives, it's
Right.
about community, it's about health.
The front line is what
Yes.
matters. Yeah.
And he's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we're gonna see, and this is something that Savan stated, I think what they're gonna try and do, because Eric Rosa has people from Soul Cycle, from Orange Theory, and all these people who worked for these companies are now on his board. I think they're gonna try and
Make it more studio
commercialize CrossFit.
Hmm.
I think that's a change we're gonna see over the next couple of years. Rosa is all about the games.
Mm-hmm.
And he not backhandedly, but kind of like somewhat gives like, you know, a little bit of his attention to the affiliates, if that makes sense. I'm trying to think of how to word it. He puts a lot of his effort towards the games.
Priorities.
Yes, there you go. He prioritizes the
Mhm.
games
Okay.
and gives not as much priority to the affiliates.
Okay.
And I don't like that
Okay.
personally, because the affiliates are the lifeblood of CrossFit.
Right. Without the
And
affiliates,
health
you wouldn't
and changing
have,
lives.
Right.
You know what I mean? And from someone like me, where, like I said, I've been doing this for so long, and I've met my wife because of CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
I do CrossFit with my parents. You and I have this company
Because of
CrossFit
Yeah.
and because of these affiliates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I competed at regionals and stuff. I've been on that stage, and it's great, but
Mhm.
it's not
It's not
like
the same.
if that were taken away, the affiliates would thrive still.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take the affiliates away, then the games just becomes an event.
So, do you think that the affiliates are just going to be completely gotten rid of? Like the opportunity to open your own CrossFit gym is going to be
Here's
like null and void, or do you think that it's just going to be a more, like you said, a more commercialized fitness industry?
So the reason affiliates are so great is because they can form their own community,
Mhm.
right? Like CrossFit guidelines for communities, there's not much to
Which
it.
Soul Cycle can do the same thing as can Orange Theory.
Yes, I'm not saying they can't.
No, I know, but I'm just playing devil's advocate. That's what I love doing.
I know, but I'll make my point.
Okay.
Make my point. So each gym has a unique community, and they change lives daily.
Right.
Right. Even the gyms that you would consider like not as good,
Mhm.
they still affect people positively.
Still have an
right?
impact. Correct.
So, but when you sign up for an affiliate, you basically have to be L1 certified. You got to pay affiliate fees, and they have a set of guidelines that you have to follow.
Mhm.
Other than that, you can program how you want. You can coach how you want. You
Right.
can offer whatever you want. All that stuff,
Mhm.
right? When you open an Orange Theory, or if you open a Soul Cycle, they basically everything's done for you. It's a franchise,
Correct.
and so is CrossFit. But they have a model where it's like, hey, here's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the workouts. Here's how you coach.
Right. It's
Here's
already
our SOP.
created. Correct.
Everything, right? CrossFit doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some people would argue that it's not as good of a business model, but CrossFit's been insanely successful. So I would argue that it actually works very well.
Mm-hmm. It's given
it's-
opportunity for
and it's-
multiple companies to showcase what us, for instance, what they can within the space.
Well, it's like it's good in its niche,
Mhm.
right? Like CrossFit, as big as we think the CrossFit world is, it's not that big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My first reaction to that is if you're not in the CrossFit world, you don't realize, or aware of it, you don't realize how big it is. In comparison to like whenever I played rugby in college, like I didn't know this world existed, but once
Right.
I was aware of it, the community was absolutely
Big.
insane. Yeah.
So to answer your question, I think CrossFit's going to become more of a commercialized model, and they're going to have more rules on the affiliates.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be more of like a money maker.
Okay.
And I think that's going to affect communities. I think it's going to affect the individualized personalities of each affiliate.
I think I haven't been able to listen to some of the latest podcast episodes. I'll go ahead and say that right now. So you've listened to a lot more than I have.
Yeah.
Basing off as my wheels are turning in response to what you're saying and kind of your thoughts, if he were to bring that type of, I don't know, implementation of affiliates, right? So it's going to be more, I don't want to say well-rounded because we already are well-rounded, but more open to the studio-esque type of approach.
Yeah.
What if he I don't know, had that as an option. So we have the affiliate. So what we have right now is not going to change. We still pay our affiliate fee. We still are going, along the guidelines. We still have the freedom to have whatever program we want, so on and so forth. Do you think that it would be just a separate entity under the CrossFit space? Do you think it's going to be all or nothing? That's what you think?
I think he's going to make affiliates change.
Do you think so?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of what he stated. That's what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
do you think it's based off of the stigma that still unfortunately comes with CrossFit, of like it's bad for the human body, which is not the case necessarily, but anything in high volume could potentially be detrimental to your health. Shoulders, hips, knees, whatever. But that's for any sport as well.
It could. I don't know. I mean, it could technically, I guess, be more of like a better. It could better their PR, the stigma that CrossFit is bad, which is not the case.
To see. But I mean, I don't like that.
Also, another thing that bothers me. I don't know if I should say this. I feel like I'm almost getting too much in my opinions here, but
that's part of this platform.
He took like 3.5 months off because he was depressed. Comes back and fires Castro. After Castro posted a picture with Glassman. I'm telling you right now, that man is emotional. He's not stable. You're a CEO of a company and you took 3 months off because you're depressed. Don't come back and tell me you have a clear head. You taking a week off vacation coming back is you clearing your mind.
Right.
And it's your company, dude. You can do what you want. But I'm telling you right now, man, personally, I think he saw that picture of Dave and Greg, acted emotionally, and fired Dave.
Okay. From a mental health standpoint, people take a lot of time or little time. We've said it before. My heart is no harder than yours, right? Now, that's not to say he doesn't own this company. That's not to say he has responsibilities. That's not to say he doesn't have a team who should be able to work appropriately in his absence, right?
Right.
We also don't know that if he saw that photo and was like, oh, what the fuck? And then bada boom, bada bing, here we are. Well, I think there's a lot more, right, that goes into it, obviously. Yeah, it's your opinion. I get that.
And I'm not taking away from like being depressed. And
no,
stuff
I know that.
Or the severity of it. I'm just saying.
Timeline shows.
Yes.
This is a possible timeline.
That I don't think he was in I mean, I don't know.
We also don't understand. I mean, obviously we weren't there, and we can see we can read what the reports are saying, right, about how he just called him, I think it was what it was, and was like, hey, by the way, you're fired, peace out.
I think it was an
email or
email.
A call?
So an email was sent. Yeah. So him and Dave spoke, and then I think Eric was like, "Yeah, we're gonna release a press statement saying it was mutual." And Dave said, "Do not do that."
That's right.
Because it's not mutual.
I did see that.
That's what.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense. Like, and he did it. The timing was terrible, and Eric didn't even like explain himself.
Yeah, a lot of questionable things going in.
And to me,
we obviously weren't there, so we don't know the extent of everything that happened.
And that's what makes me believe that it was like an emotional decision because he had no explanation.
That's fair.
He didn't feel like Dave fit. Dude, fuck off, man. Listen, Castro's done more for the sport than Eric Rosa could ever do.
Right. So here's my question to ask you. Are you more upset at the firing in general, or are you more upset with how he fired him?
Both.
Well, I'm asking which one are you more upset with? Obviously, they're both
him being let go.
In
general. Yeah.
Okay.
And the way he did it was shitty.
Okay. So first is just the fact that he's
yes. Gone. And this is my emotional opinion. Again, so
emotional
for all the people out there,
all
you people that get offended by this is my opinion of the situation. And if you disagree, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you love Rosa and you think he's going to do a great job, I hope you're right. But I'm just saying, I've been doing this since 2010.
Hamilton has an opinion, and he's very set on his
opinion.
That's
fine. I mean, I'm just passionate. I love CrossFit. I love everything about it. I'm thankful that Glassman created it. I'm not saying Glassman was the perfect little angel, because he wasn't, but neither are you. And neither am I.
Right.
I mean, Cole Sager said that also on his post about it. He was like, everyone can bitch about, this is paraphrasing, by the way, everyone can complain about how, Dave did things wrong, blah, 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 but he's not perfect, and neither are you.
Yeah.
Which is the truth. It's the truth.
It's the truth.
I don't know, man. That's my take. What do you think?
I mean, I don't want to say it's expected, but I'm not surprised by a big move like this. I think Tommy Marquez had said in something, him and I cut each other off often. So we have to find that.
Why do
happy
we have a
medium.
podcast?
I don't know, like of me giving him the shut the fuck up
Yes.
or
Sorry,
just
Caitlin.
like because putting my hand up doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
Stop talking.
Caitlin's gotten good about just being very blunt about Hamilton.
Yeah.
Stop talking.
From a business standpoint, I don't know what's going to happen because obviously I haven't been in the space as long as you have. No shit. I have an idea of, some things that are happening and the overall what's going on, but Tommy Marquez said, I forgot what podcast episode he was on, might have been his own, but he was like, anytime you have a change of power, essentially, or change of ownership, change of leadership, there are changes that are going to happen, period.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not going to agree with them, whether it's a big, huge firing like Dave Castro, or if it's a small, little thing that you're adjusting, like bringing somebody new on board, trying to, I don't know, whatever the case may be, right? So I can't say that I appreciate the fact that Castro is gone. I wasn't expecting it to happen, but I'm not surprised coming from that standpoint, from change of ownership. That's my perspective. So you can't be surprised at that.
You're saying it was a byproduct of the change of ownership.
Correct.
Yeah.
Things were going to happen,
Sure.
and it's also Dave Castro is a very unique, for lack of better words, ornery individual, and he's arguably brilliant at what he does, right? With the understanding that he doesn't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about him.
No.
Which, in today's culture, is not always accepted. Which is why Sven, for instance, has a very specific audience that listens to him. Joe Rogan, same thing, right? So, that being said, his persona and who Dave is, more than likely, doesn't fall along the lines of what Rosa's trying to carry out with a new business model,
I agree
right?
100% with that.
Again, do I agree with it? Not necessarily. However, I don't know the back end of what happened.
Right.
Some of the things that you've said a second ago, my wheels are turning, and I'm a processor. I like to process things pretty well before I speak on things or topics. So, again, this happens in a company, and I'm hoping that the future of CrossFit is not what your fear is. I'm hoping that you're wrong. But I also see where you're coming from. I can agree with it. I'm sorry. I can understand it.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot to take over, and it's just another wave of like a punch in the gut to CrossFit. Over the past 2 years, it's been a lot.
So much change.
So
much change.
Change is change. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. And we just got to figure out how to roll with the punches accordingly. So
I just don't like something that I love so much to, I guess, change.
Hamilton's passionate across the board, and
I
that's
am.
Just,
I'm a
not
passionate guy. I love what I love, and I love it super hard. I mean, at the end of the day, like our gym here, I mean, whether CrossFit's on the door or not,
our gym is not
shit's
moving.
Gonna keep rolling.
Yeah, it's
baby.
not.
Yeah.
It's not gonna end.
So
and
at
that's
the end of
also
the day,
thing too is that the community that was created, the communities that have been created, as long as the appropriate leadership is still in place, they're not going to diminish. They're not going to go away.
Right.
It will across the board. It might go away, but also say that new rules are applied. Right. These gyms are not going to be like free sailing, and they don't have to pay an affiliate fee, so they might thrive in a different way.
Yeah.
But it's just all up for.
Well, it'll just become functional fitness facilities.
Correct.
Instead of CrossFit, it'll be functional fitness. So, whatever. That's just, I get mad talking about it, so whatever. So. However, Hannah and I have a theory. I don't know if you saw that. I think his name is Matt O'Keefe.
Yeah.
Chief Keefe.
He stepped down
Said
from
that
Loud and Live.
he might be. Now that, and Hannah and I talked about this for a while. Keefe. That would be the one, honestly.
I spoke
that'd
to him
be the
briefly
smartest.
at the Rogue Invitational. Great guy. I told him if he wanted to be my uncle, he could just come be a part of the family. He might not remember that, but obviously I do.
Well, I think he would be a good replacement. I don't think that they should have gotten rid of Dave. I don't think you can replicate Dave, but I think Keefe would be. He would be the choice and would get the least resistance.
Candidate.
He would get the least
candidate.
resistance from people, I think.
Okay.
I think he'd, because I mean, think about it. Waza's like a well-oiled machine.
Well, it's what he has the Granite Games too, didn't he?
Loud and Live is
think.
his service, or his company. So I mean, regardless, I think he would be. I think he'd do a good job.
Good addition, a good replacement.
That's my theory. Not whoever the other guy is.
I don't know who the other guy is.
Is the guy? I think is he the CEO? No, Eric's the CEO. Sorry, what is he? He's a guy on the games documentaries that he spoke on drug testing.
I'll have to look it up.
He's not very special. There's not much to him.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm sorry. But okay. Better way to word this. He's
My
not like
God,
a Dave.
Hamilton.
He's not like a Dave. He doesn't have like a big personality. But there were rumors. I can't remember his name. Justin something. I don't know. But there's
not much to him. God,
but there's rumors that he was going to be stepping in, and I'm like, ugh. Like,
you don't want to step up.
Me? I would love to. Give me that job. No, I'm not.
Two emotional, passionate people. I don't know if that's a.
I could definitely do it. I definitely could do it, but it would be. I have a lot to learn. A lot to learn, Dave. Those are some big shoes.
Call
to
Hamilton, Dave. Call Hamilton, please.
Man, programming wise, Dave and I have. There was one open
2 years ago, 2019.
2 years ago, where dude, my proudest humble
I remember
brag.
that. That
humble
was
brag,
really cool.
Proudest programming moment for me is typically like on Mondays on the week of the open, I try and give them my best prediction.
Yeah, you opened it up to the community, to our affiliate. It was in the programming, so you had the entire week planned out, and we have coaches' notes, we've got FV, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So he would say like per, history.
This is what I think it's going to be.
This is what I think it's going to be. It's
every
the movements,
week.
the
got
time
it
domain, like
right.
he got all of it, and I was
so close to all the workouts.
Like low key wanted you to not be right, just for this moment. I got it. 2019 was my year. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I did it one time.
That was cool. One time.
One time.
So basically, he
and
should
no
take
one,
over that
no
spot.
one predicted the year after that.
No, you
2020,
couldn't. You couldn't. It was all
2020
changed.
we didn't have it. 2020 we didn't have it.
Yeah, we had the remote,
whatever.
whatever. Yeah.
And then 2021 was the 3 weeks. And no one predicted motherfucking wall walks. Ugh.
We did have someone, I think I told you this, one of our athletes competed at Waza. Jess Adams. Love you.
Yeah, great dude. Shout out to the FV athletes.
Yeah,
there.
all of them that went to Waza, y'all did great.
I think we had 3. Well done. Nike, all the combine athletes.
All the combine athletes. Yeah, we had Maria and we had Jess. Yep.
Jess. Great
and
job.
She said, thank you for programming all those wall walks because I was able to crank out X at a time.
That's right.
And that was great. And then she says...
We do a lot of wall walks. Because you never know.
And then she says, if you could just, sprinkle some swimming in there. And I said, okay, let's get a pool.
Ugh.
And we'll talk.
Swimming.
Sorry we couldn't help you with that.
Man, swimming
I was like, damn, we failed in that aspect. But
swimming's tough.
it is tough.
All right, let's talk about the Open.
Okay.
Have they announced if it's going to be...
Nothing has changed.
3 weeks or 5 weeks?
I think it's...
Hold on. I can't look on my phone. Look on your phone really quick. I want to say it's 5.
I want to say it's 4, to be honest with you.
Huh.
I can't type with my opposite hand.
we did all of our planning for this podcast and didn't even look at how many weeks it's going to be.
My God.
Sorry. It's on a... Yeah, you're good. I think it's on Morning Chalk Up. I think posted their timeline for the Open. But anyway, while Caitlin's looking for that, we are going to discuss like tips on like how to do better in your open workouts, like how to prepare better. And we'll talk about like programming, what our affiliate will look like. So maybe if you listen to this and you are looking kind of find a game plan, we can give you some suggestions there.
It's 3 weeks.
It is 3 weeks this year?
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Ugh.
I think.
Should be 5.
Double checking.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're going to talk about like workouts, how to be successful, how to approach, the workouts, things like that. So
have to be mentally dialed in.
Yes. So first thing, let's talk about how to set up your week, right? So open workouts typically, for the most part, and we're talking about in general here. So you may have a different plan, but we'll talk about that too on how you can like, if you need to modify your schedule. Mm-hmm. But typically, during the Open, you do your workout Friday, for the most part.
Most people, yeah.
Yep, because it's open.
A community event. So
yes,
you're all getting together on Friday.
It's announced Thursday.
Correct.
And then it closes Monday, the following Monday, at 8. That's when you submit your scores.
I think the 14th is a Tuesday. I'm sometimes not smart.
Well,
so
and they did modify it, I think.
Yeah, they adjusted it a little bit.
But anyway, so it's either going to be Monday or Tuesday. So they'll announce it Thursday, then you'll have...
You've got a 4 to 5 day span to crank it out.
To do it as many times as you want, right?
Correct.
So how we do it for our affiliates is, like we said, Monday, we give our best guess. Now, I don't try and replicate the workout perfectly, but we try and give a taste of what it could be, right? Or at least throw in movements that are commonly seen in the open. So that way they can touch on them, dial them in, make sure they're good. Now, this is a very, like, we're talking about the open itself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into all of our year of programming that we
we're not backtracking. That's another episode.
Exactly. So Monday, we try and replicate
an
as
open
best
workout.
we can.
Yeah.
Yes. Tuesday, I usually try and give them some sort of like specific energy system training. So whether it be aerobic or anaerobic, like if we're on the third week and we've had 2 very short workouts, right? Let's say that he announced 2 short ones. Well, I'm gonna bet my money on the next one being longer
one. Yeah.
So we'll focus on that. So we'll prime the energy system for that, usually on Tuesdays, whatever our best guess for the time domain.
Yeah.
Right.
So Monday is stimulus for the workout or the movement specifically.
Correct.
Tuesday is time domain focused.
Correct. Wednesday, we usually taper them down.
Right.
And we do more of like a more of just like a sweaty session. Like get them moving around. Sometimes we'll give them like functional bodybuilding or something like that.
It'll be typically for our affiliates, our Thursdays are our active recovery days, or they are, like you said, like accessory type stuff.
I'm talking about Wednesday.
I know, but for the open that week.
Yes. Sorry.
Fuck.
This is what we're talking.
God.
Sorry.
Yeah, so instead of Thursday, we have it on Wednesday.
Yes.
And then Thursday, go ahead there, big shot.
Thursday, we usually recommend that you rest. Thursday, we typically recommend that you rest. Now, we understand as athletes, especially in the affiliate that don't do the open, or ones that do and they want to move on Thursday, we typically give them something long and sweaty.
Yeah.
Something they just move around, sweat a little bit. And then Friday, they're fresh, ready to go. Now, if you have to make adjustments in that, that's fine. Like, let's say
very basic overview of what.
Yeah, that's just kind of a general idea. If you have to, and then that way, if you do it Friday, you can rest Saturday, and you can do a redo on Sunday or Monday, or whatever that time period. If you want to do it the next day, depending on the workout and stuff like that.
We haven't had anybody do it on Thursday, like after the release. Some people sometimes
some
do.
People
I've seen
will.
some affiliates.
Yeah, some
do that.
people like to knock it out.
If you're trying to, make an impression and a name for yourself and go for the games, then I can see that being beneficial.
Right.
Go ahead and crank it out. Give yourself an extra day. Adjust, process accordingly, and then again, Saturday, Monday split or something.
And for our individual athletes, we typically recommend the same schedule. So even our individual design, we typically follow the same protocol, and we have them do it on Friday.
Most of our athletes want to participate.
We do occasionally. We'll have athletes that prefer to do it solo. They don't like the big crowds, which is fine. They don't like the overstimulus, so they usually do it either earlier in the afternoon on a Friday or Saturday.
Right.
Yeah. But if you want to structure your week effectively for the open, that is a great structure to follow.
For Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, Monday, we keep it movement to what we think movements are going to be. We keep it movement specific. Tuesday, we try and prime that energy system depending on the time domain or the intensity level that we think the workout's going to be. Wednesday is usually more of like a chiller day where it's tapered, where it's more like, moving around, getting sweaty. Thursday, we usually recommend rest or very light monostructural Z1 movement, whatever. And then Friday, you get after
game
it.
Day. Friday's game day. And we don't have class on. Well, we have class on. Do we have class on Saturdays? Saturday. My God. Okay, I can't remember. I had a. Whatever.
So, if you don't know how to structure your open, that's a great way to do it. Redos, I typically suggest one redo. Unless you're like a higher level athlete where you have a chance to make it, then you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
There was
I was about to say
oh my God. There was a workout in 2017 that I did. It was 17.1. It's the one that we redid.
We just redid.
God. I did that workout. I actually went to the hospital because I thought I had rhabdo. I did it 4 times.
And then the week leading
in
up
a 3-day span.
That week, whenever you figured out it was released, what the workout was.
Oh, bro, I got so fired up.
Yeah, but it was kind of weird. I was like, can I talk to you today?
Oh, yeah.
Are we happy Hamilton? Or are we focused, gonna bite somebody's head
I know,
off
it actually
Hamilton?
ended up perfectly. I
crushed it.
Destroyed my old score, which was great. And it's crazy because I thought I was super fit then.
In the past, whenever you did those in 17, did you, because you were at TTT, right? Back then or no?
I was with TTT.
Yeah.
Yes.
So were you doing this as an individual or did you do it with the crew?
Individual.
So hear me out. Seeing as you are now in a different place in your life, and we had some studs. So we combined both of our locations for that specific workout for the open, and we had some other studs in that heat that you were in. Now, do I think that you were necessarily focusing on them? Not particularly, but it was cool to see you guys go head to head. You, Eric, Brandon, Shane, like all of them.
Definitely, I perform better in front of people. I like that pressure. Solo, I think I'm too.
Do you do well being like yelled at and encouraged?
I'm not a big fan of it.
Don't talk to me when I'm working out. Like,
That's
I know
how
what
I
I gotta
am.
do. I know what I gotta do.
If it's, I don't know. I kind of feel the room when it comes to like encouraging people that are still going. But me personally, no.
Shut the fuck up.
If you come on, bro. You got it, dude. I'm like, dude, please shut up.
I'm going to give a shout out to
it.
somebody at our gym, and we all love this person more than life itself. We would probably do questionable things for this person. Happy-go-lucky. He wants everybody to succeed. Sebastian.
Oh, yeah.
Some people don't want to be encouraged.
He likes to. He gets fired up. Yeah.
He's
Seabass, we love you, dude.
He's your best pal.
Yeah.
And he wants you to succeed.
He will cheer
you
you
wants
on.
to be over your shoulder when you get that A+. But I have to tell him, like,
Just not us.
This is not somebody.
Not
well,
us.
there's a couple people.
Okay.
There's some people that, just don't want to, just give them some mental support. We're here. We're here. But don't keep yelling at them. Bless his heart.
Seabass, we love you, dude.
We love you. And some people love that. Some people love having
and some
someone
people
in
respond,
their face
Yeah, some people respond well.
being screamed at. That's not me. I will stop what I'm doing because you're not going to care more than I do.
So, next tip. Planning. Have a plan for your workout. I think that is huge. I think if you want to do well in a workout, you have to have strategy.
Yes.
If you say, I'm just going to wing it, see how it feels.
Nope.
It's a terrible idea.
Bye.
Terrible idea. Now, here's the thing. Planning is a double-edged sword, right? The open is chaos, which is the best way to describe it, right?
Organized chaos.
You may have a plan, and it may go wrong. So there is some adapting that has to happen or might happen. The key is not getting frazzled when it does happen.
Yeah.
Right? Have a
Don't
contingency.
crack under pressure.
So if you have, let's say open workout starts with 100 pull-ups, right? You can't just go into that without a plan.
And black out. I mean,
Yeah. So like when these open workouts come out, take Thursday night to like think about strategy.
Study.
Usually services will, like we do as well. We could do kind of a breakdown of suggestions on what we think you should do based on your level. Utilize those resources. Like if we typically give a how to do this or how to approach the workout if you're an elite level, how to approach the workout if you're intermediate level, how to approach the workout if you're scaled, right? We give suggestions for all those. So utilize those resources.
Yep.
Like if you're not sure, ask your coach. Like you need to have some kind of plan,
some kind of guidance going into it.
And then if things don't go the way you're supposed to, then you just adjust to the best of your ability.
Yeah, and be okay with that happening. Like you need to be so committed to what you're doing so that you don't get frazzled and you don't, shit hit the fan. However, you also need to be open-minded at the point of assessing yourself in that moment as to whether or not your plan was the best plan to do. That's going to be more of a elite mindset, I feel like. Someone who's got the reps and who has the exposure and the experience to this type of high pressure situation.
Right.
But like you said, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've had workouts where I thought I was like, dude, I got this thing nailed, ready to go. And then you get started and
nope, just kidding.
You get fatigued faster than you thought. Your heart rate's higher than you thought, and you gotta adjust.
You gotta keep your composure.
So have a plan, have a strategy. That's going to be key. And the nice thing about planning and strategizing too is that let's say you don't do as well as you thought you could have. Maybe you had an off day. Maybe your nutrition was off, or maybe you didn't sleep well,
right.
or whatever. Or maybe your strategy just wasn't effective.
Yeah, that's
so
also common.
What you can do is, that's the nice thing about open workouts, you can redo them. And then you can adjust your strategy from there.
Back to
and
the
it gives you
board.
something, it gives you like a benchmark to base your changes off of so you can improve. So that's our second tip, is like have a plan, strategize, no matter what level you are. And if you don't have resources, message us, shoot us a message. We'll gladly share. We typically post on Instagram how to approach these workouts.
Right.
And if you want something specific, message us. We'll shoot you a message back. We'll give you as much help as we can. We want you guys to be successful.
If you're a bit of a head case, call me. I got you.
Yeah, Caitlin's really good. Caitlin, honestly, one of your strengths as a coach is I feel like you're really good at like the psychological aspect of with athletes. And I have a minor in coaching. I took coaching psychology. And I still feel like you're way better at it than I am. Like I feel like I have a good grasp, but you definitely have like a knack for it. Like that's definitely one of your strengths.
Thanks. One of the things too that I tell people when they're going into a workout is obviously you've heard this before, but focus on what you can control, right?
Next tip. That's the next tip. Next tip. Control what you can.
I thought you said next episode for a second. I was no. You're cutting me off. What?
Is that how do I say it? Control what you can control.
Control the controllables.
Control the controllables.
Yes.
All right. So first tip, you guys know how to lay out your week. Second tip, have a plan. Caitlin. Third tip, control the controllables.
For example, if you hate burpees, I know a lot of people hate burpees, right? They loathe burpees. You're still going to do them. They're still there. They're not going away. So stop fucking obsessing over it and stop looking at it as being your Achilles heel. Focus on the things that you're good at. Put your energy and your frame of mind towards things that you can better yourself in that workout about. Because you sitting here spending all that energy on how much you hate burpees in the movement in the open is not going to get you a better score, better time, better leaderboard position.
In other words, acceptance, right? Like the open workout will not change because you don't like a movement.
Learn where to put your stressors. Don't stress it and shit that you can't, you hate it. It's not going to change.
Right.
If you're good at wall balls, crank that out. How can you approach that better?
So you're talking more about the mental aspect of
sorry.
No, that's fine. I mean, and your mindset is one thing that you will have to control.
Right.
So let's talk about that for a second, and then I'll actually talk about the physical, like the tangible things that you need to control during your workouts, or you can control during your workouts. So you're right. I think you're 100% right. Like if there's a movement that's a weak movement for you, or it's not one of your strengths, you can't change the open workout. No. You can't. No. As much as I'm sure we all wish we could at some point.
Oh yeah.
But acceptance is a big key of it, or a big key part of that being like, okay, this is what the movement is. This is what the workout is.
Be realistic with it.
And going back to our second tip, strategizing, like how can I approach this to do my best, even though this is not a strong movement for me?
A great way to capitalize on your capabilities, like what you just said, knowing what you're good at, knowing where you stand. Don't overshoot yourself, but also don't undershoot yourself. I
agree.
I could go
so
on that all day.
Now the tangible controls. So normally in the open workouts, not in the quarterfinals or semis, but in the open workouts, you typically can set up, unless your gym has a specific way of how they're going to set up during Friday Night Lights or whenever you do it. You can set your workout, set your equipment up where you can be successful.
Yes.
That is a huge thing. Don't, in the open workout, seconds
matter.
Can be the difference in
those
tons of placing or
transition steps like burpee box jump overs.
Or getting the score that you want, right? That's huge. So we tell this to one of our athletes, Kaylee. I went through this, we talked about this a little bit last week on the last podcast too. Burpee box jump overs, for example. Find a cadence and rhythm that you can replicate and stick with, and don't take all these extra steps, because those extra steps added up over a long period of time are going to hurt your score.
Yep, and you're wasting energy.
Yep.
Even if you're slowing down and you're making more steps for yourself, thinking that you're allowing yourself an opportunity to breathe and maybe think, but you're just wasting time and you're actually doing worse for yourself.
In open workouts, you
can't think.
Your margin of error has to be so small, because it can make such a big difference in your score. 5 seconds in the open can be a difference in 20 places.
200 places.
Yeah, it's so
it's worldwide.
So the third tip, and now this is for open workouts.
Correct.
I'll talk about quarterfinals and semifinals in a second. But for open workouts, set yourself up for success, because you can control that. Unless CrossFit changes the rules in the open workouts and they stage it,
knock on wood,
then you're good. So don't set your rower up if the workout has rowing, wall balls, and pull-ups. Don't set your rower up
20 feet
away from the rig. You know what I mean? You want to keep your transition minimal. Yeah. So set yourself up for success, because you can control that. Right? And then Another thing you can control is wasted energy and wasted effort,
Mm-hmm.
which extra steps, no reps, things like that. Like that's all stuff that's not going to positively affect your score.
Mm-hmm.
So a tip a tip on top of a tip here, practice that.
Mm-hmm.
Practice that stuff prior to the open. Well, I'll get that. I'll get to that in a second.
During your class workouts.
Yeah, so I'll get to that in a second. That'll be our next tip. But so for now, in the open workouts, you can control how you stage your workouts for the most part, unless they change it.
Yeah.
You can.
There's certain
right?
regulations, but yes.
Right. So for quarter and semifinals, CrossFit stages it for you.
Correct.
They usually give you a box you have to stay in. They give you a starting position.
Right.
They physically prescribe how to set up your workout.
And even at that, it's consistent across the board. So no one person has an advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So moral of the story for the third tip is set yourself up for success. Like eliminate any waste, trim the fat, like anything you can do to improve your score, do it as long as it obviously abides by the rules.
Yeah. The less thinking you have to do outside of your initial strategy, the better.
Right. So third tip is practice. Practice like you play. Okay.
Isn't that fourth tip?
Fourth tip, excuse me. Fourth tip. Sorry.
Counting is hard.
Practice like you play. So we talk about all this stuff about controlling what you can control in terms of movements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Practice it.
Mm-hmm.
Practice it prior. Stay
apply
10
it
minutes.
in your class.
So let's say they announce the workout Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have, whatever, burpee over the rower, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's something that you feel like is not a stronger movement for you. Well, before you do the workout, practice.
Mm-hmm.
See if there's ways you can improve your technique from your coach. Like find a rhythm and a technique that works well for you. And like practice that before the workout and then implement it in the workout.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
The physical application of it. In terms of like I said this before already, but strategizing, a lot of our athletes here do this already. But the way that we have our day-to-day workout set up is that our members can see the workout the night before, right? That's just kind of how we've done it here.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock p.m., everybody signs up. And that's a great way for our athletes to look at it and, again, come up with a game plan, see what's going to happen, especially as we are really gearing up for the open. This is the perfect opportunity to apply that.
Right. They are very familiar with like not knowing the workout prior. So for them, like it almost helps them.
They're used to getting surprised.
Yeah,
honestly.
Right. So that's the fourth tip. Like practice stuff before the actual workout. Don't just make your chance. One of my biggest pet peeves, and when athletes do this in class too, is like middle of the workout they change their weight. Middle of the workout they change their weight.
Make a commitment.
And
whatever you're planning on doing, stick to that the whole way.
Well, it's like we say prior to starting the class. It's like why not practice the movement prior, which we tell you to do.
Like we give you time to warm up for that workout,
and then if you're not sure, ask.
That's what we're here for.
Like, hey, watch a couple of these snatches. Do you think I should use this weight?
And also, if you're an ego lifter, then just get in the back.
Well, ego lifters typically suffer in the open anyway.
Well, except for not all. It's a learning curve for the vast majority, right? But I'm learning a lot of people, not necessarily here, but in general, former places of employment that I was at, they'll put on the bigger weight because they think they can do it because it's an ego-focused workout, and then they have to cut it back halfway, like what you're saying, and then the whole stimulus and the point of the freaking workout is thrown out the window.
Well, ego plays a big part in it anyway, and that's why we give so many scaled options. And we're like, humble yourself. Do a scaled option so you can improve. It's about improving. No one's going to make fun of you for scaling.
And just because it's scaled,
or no one should make fun of you for scaling, so you can improve yourself.
But that's your RX.
Yeah.
Like people get tired. That's a whole other topic
we
can go into.
If you're doing scaled, progressing, whatever, we're all doing the workout.
It's specific for you. Your progress and your wins are exactly that. Your wins. It's not for anybody else.
Exactly.
So it's your RX, even though you put it in or whatever it is.
Yes.
I could go on with that for.
I know. So practice. So practice that stuff prior, and that will help you on tip number 2, strategizing. So that way you can set yourself up for big success. Now, 5th one, right?
Yeah.
5th tip.
4, 5, yeah.
Mindset. This is huge.
Isn't that?
Mindset going into the open.
Okay. Not
attitude.
Not strategy.
Attitude. Excuse me.
Got it.
Attitude going into an open workout.
Yes.
It's very easy to get super anxious, like heart rate spikes.
Yeah.
you're super nervous, right? Like you get pukey almost. Like it's a
high intensity, high stress,
and they're painful, and the workouts are painful.
and you know
so
it's
you're
gonna hurt.
anticipating the pain,
Right.
right? And usually it's done for the most not all. Most people do it Friday Night Lights. So you're around people, music. It's
a social
lit.
pressure. Like it's just a lot of stimulation, a lot of commotion.
Exactly. So it's easy to, if you're not in tune with your emotions, to let that almost overstimulate you.
Control your emotions.
So that's the fifth one, right? Go into it like we talked about, to be successful for you, right? Don't let all this external stuff affect your mentality and performance. So if that means like you calming down means you kind of stepping away from everyone before the workout and like calming yourself, listening to music, whatever, do that. Like this, again, in the open workouts, you can control pretty much everything except the workout itself.
Whatever your ritual is, just do it.
Do it. Do what's going to set you up. And know that these open workouts hurt.
Something you've probably heard me say this to people, my independent athletes, and then athletes here at the gym too, is calm mind, confident movements. I think I've said that. I think everybody here has heard me say that.
You've said that a bunch.
But it's true. Like the more control you have of what's going on between the ears, your body will follow. Period. So if you give yourself that opportunity to focus and remind yourself that you do have control up here and everything else will follow, like you're going to be in a better position to succeed and you can think clearly.
Right.
But
well, and I mean, and that's honestly, in my opinion, that's the hardest part. I'm telling you, open workouts, I feel like the mental aspect is what's hardest.
Oh yeah.
Because
people forget about that. They really truly do.
Well,
it's all focused on physical and output and go.
Yeah.
That we rarely, at least in class, we do a decent job, but for the most part, people don't talk about that. The headspace.
Yeah. It's definitely something that like you have to experience helps, right? Like the more opens you have. And again, so hear me out on this. The more opens you have, obviously you're more callous to it, right? Like for me, I still get the nervous, pukey energy feeling.
Right.
I still do. I just know how to cope with it a lot better now.
Right.
You know, like for me, I do really well with distraction. So like me leading up to the workout, I do better. Like I'll like listen to music or something like that, or watch a YouTube video or something to try and like distract my mind.
Space, yeah.
And then once it's time to like, you know, we're setting up the workout and it's my time to go, that's when I like, okay, I take the music off. Like, you know, I start
get into that tunnel
focused. Vision. But for those of you that haven't done an open workout before, maybe this is your first open, expect that. It's intense. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
It can be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
But
I usually suggest like, watch a couple heats go first if you can. Like watch someone else do the open workout, and that will, from what I've seen in my experience, it helps like almost okay.
Yeah, I think
like this person's still alive.
I think the first, the first open for anybody is always the hardest.
100%.
You know what I mean? So like, again, acceptance. You know it's gonna be uncomfortable. Roll with the punches.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just kind of how.
Well, it's hardest because it's the unknown, right?
Yeah,
like
you don't know. It's uncharted waters for you, and you're seeing everybody. Especially if you're somebody who like is an individual athlete coming from track or swimming or whatever, and you are just genuinely not used to being in that space with other people, a team player, for lack of better words. Yeah. That in itself, you're like, this is a different environment for me. I don't want to. This is weird.
Now, all this being said, it's awesome.
Oh, it's great. It's so fun.
Dude, that is such a community builder. That is such a character builder. Like, the open is something truly amazing, which is, again, why I get off defensive with Dave, because, you know, I feel like Dave was such a
good advocate.
He just, the way he did it was such the purpose, to me, it's the purpose behind it. Like, he did it for that reason. Like, people, I don't think there's another global event like that where everyone does it together, you know, everyone suffers through it together, and it's so awesome. And like some of my best memories in CrossFit are open workouts. And yes, they suck, they hurt, whatever, but you get to see yourself improve. You get to see a year's worth of work be showcased to everyone, right? And you get to see how much you've improved. And if you didn't improve, well, then it's a benchmark of your fitness, right? You know what you need to work on. So
Suffering with friends.
yeah, and I mean honestly, it's so much fun.
It's
like
fun.
Friday Night Lights is great, and then of course, obviously for the higher level athletes, that's your first step to your season.
Right.
You know, and then you got quarterfinals, semifinals after that. But yeah, so all that being said, hopefully these tips can kind of help you out. If you're mainly for those that haven't done the open before,
or even if you have done the open before, and we might have touched base on something that you haven't thought of, or I don't know, maybe we've given you a couple words of wisdom. But
and again, we want to be a resource and a bank of knowledge for you guys. So like you can always reach out to us on Instagram if you have questions or tips, or sorry, if you need tips or anything like that. Let us know. Like
use us.
We're here to help you out. Yeah.
Functional versatility on Instagram.
You know what?
Follow. Link in bio.
Yeah. Subscribe.
I said that.
Like. You know.
But yeah, go ahead and do that.
I was talking to Hannah, and she wants to go to the MAC again this year.
Yeah. Yep.
And she goes, "Will you be there? Like competing?" And I was like, "I don't know." She was like, "Well, do you feel like you're prepared?" And I was like, "I mean, I train any chance I get." But again, we talked about this in the last podcast. Like for me, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
What was that tip number 2? Have a plan.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Okay, bro.
So
come
for
on.
Me, so like, okay, so let's talk about this, right? We're talking about the open. Let's talk about our goals for the open. My goal for the open is to go to quarterfinals. And then my goal for quarterfinals is to do my best.
Okay.
Whatever that outcome is, I'm happy
that's your
with.
best, yeah.
And I feel like my body weight nutrition is the best it's ever been. I feel like, honestly, leading into an open, I mean, I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel really good.
This has been a very good year for you.
Well, I feel
we
like
talked about last time.
I feel like I've matured a lot as an. Let me talk about this in the last podcast. I feel like I've matured a lot this year.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm more aware of my ability. I feel like I can push myself harder, even though I weighed 197 this morning.
Ew, what?
Right? What? Yeah, not 300 pounds now, Mo.
He's skinty.
But I've still maintained my strength.
Yeah.
So I think my chances of making a semifinal are the highest they're going to be for this year. So we'll see. If I don't make it, hey, whatever. Like quarterfinals last year was a blast. I'm really glad. I had a lot of fun working out with
we had a couple people
athletes at our North location too. We had a handful.
Yeah.
They made the quarterfinals.
Cool.
So
really cool.
It was a good time. And I'm looking forward to it this year, and I'm hoping we send more athletes this year.
Yeah.
To quarterfinals.
Be awesome.
But those workouts were brutal.
They were rough.
Brutal.
They were very rough last year.
Yeah, I was so sore. Oh my gosh. What about you? What are your goals for the Open this year? You could do them?
I mean, I'm gonna try. Last year I did the Open, but I didn't upload my scores because I just have to pick and choose with what I can do with my situation, which is fine. So depending on what they are, I'll go for it. If it's just too much, like prime example, jumping, a lot of jarring movements, burpees, or like a lot of extension high volume that causes me to be in a lot of discomfort for days to follow. So I just have to pick and choose what part of the workout. So I'm going to end up just kind of making my own workout, but continue, I guess, in that frame of mind. And more so, honestly, I'm more so goal-oriented for my athletes than I am for me for the Open.
Yeah.
Just because, again, I'm not participating in the capacity that I want to. But I have really high hopes for our athletes, whether they're individualized with us, with FB specific, or they are our affiliates, even some of our friends, and it'd be great if they are able to make some serious moves within their own personal progress based off of what stuff we've said here today. So.
We picked up a lot of athletes for this season, so I'm excited to see what they can do. So, Kaylin, closing question before we hop off here. What do you think we're going to see in the Open?
Oh, fuck. Dude, I wasn't ready for this question.
I know. Hit you with it.
I don't know.
More wall wax? God.
Watch there be wall walks with wall-facing strict handstand push-ups.
I don't know what they could do new. You know
we always say that, and some weird shit comes out next time.
Well, we had wall walks, double unders last year. Then we had burpee box jump overs, dumbbells. Then we had the barbells with the front squats and chest to bar and toes to bar and bar.
And then you had
the complex.
The complex at the end. Yeah.
So, do you think they'll try and be minimalistic again?
I do.
You do?
Because of the whole because of. The pandemic hasn't ended.
Yeah.
Put it that way. And
unfortunately.
yeah, so that I think is going to be a huge limiting factor, for lack of better words. But
you want to have a political discussion?
No, I do not. I do not. I've had enough emotion from Hamilton for probably the week.
Y'all don't want to hear my opinion.
So I'm gonna
on all
let
that.
you go home to wifey with that one. Okay. Gym wife is cutting out. We out.
Well, hold on before we bounce.
I
think
don't know, dude. Minimalist still. I think it's gonna be. I like the setup they had last year of it was couplet, and then a triplet. No.
Couplet. You had toes to bar, front squats, chest to bar, front squats. Not this order. Sorry. Bar muscle ups, front squats, complex.
Quintuplet.
Yeah. mixed modal.
I think it'll be minimal, and then boom. Because they've already created it, and they're sticking with that.
Are they?
That's what I heard.
Ugh, I hope so.
So if that's the case, then I think I might have a half decent chance of kind of thinking something might happen.
I think they're going to put ring muscle ups this year.
I haven't had that in a while.
I think they're going to do ring muscle ups. That's my prediction.
I don't know, dude.
Did bar muscle ups last year. What's the difference in someone having rings in a pull-up bar? You know, I'm saying since it's minimalistic,
yeah,
so you can do it at home.
Almost every gym has a
set of rings
bar with their rig. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I personally think that's what we're gonna see.
Okay. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I'll bet you a nickel. I'll bet you a nickel on it. Again, coming from the minimalist.
I'll bet you a can of C4.
I don't even like C4 that much.
We'll give it Alani.
Okay.
Shake on it.
Okay. Coordination.
Weirdest high five. All right.
Anyway.
Instagram. Follow us. YouTube. Subscribe. It's all at Functional Versatility. What else?
Slide in our DMs if you got questions.
Don't forget, after the open, Functional Versatility Resolve drops.
Boom.
So if you don't have a program that you're following or you want to make a change after the open,
hop on that
Functional
train.
Versatility Resolve, baby. It's going to be awesome.
I think that's it.
We love you guys. If you have questions about the open, whether you're at one of our affiliates or if you're one of our athletes or not one of our athletes, Instagram, DM us, email, functionalversatility@gmail.com.
Peace.
Later.